Good morning, church family. It's good to see you all here this morning. Appreciate the presence of each and every one of you. And if you're visiting with us today, we want to make sure that you are welcomed as well. And we know that we've asked you to fill out cards and things like that, but we also really want to encourage you to stay afterwards and let us get to know you better. We are a friendly church. We love God, we love Jesus, and we love our community. And we want to serve them, and we want you to be a part of that. So just if you're looking for a church, look no further. That's what I like to say sometimes. But want to make sure that you know that we want to take a chance to get a chance to welcome you and say hello. It's good to see you all here, and it's a good thing to always on Sunday mornings to have announcements. Ross did a great job. Announcements means that we are busy and we are active and we have a lot going on. And so, and lengthy announcements or no? I'm glad we have announcements and to talk about things that we're doing and to think about people. And of course, Debbie's brother has been diagnosed with leukemia. It's they think it's the treatable kind. They caught it early, and so they're being very optimistic about his outcome in his report. But still, it is cancer. It is leukemia, and then plus, so please let's be remembering Debbie and everybody else who is on our prayer list. But also, Debbie mentioned this morning in our Bible class that her mother is also having a stress test done today. Not today, this week. And so we need to pray for Debbie and to remember them and everybody else on our prayer list. I wanted to acknowledge Connie Curry. Connie is the better half, and when I say better, I mean really better half. Of Donnie Curry. Amen. Connie and Donnie have been married for a while now, and Connie just wanted to make it known to us that she would like to be known, that she wants to count her as one of our members here. Donnie, see, when you have a couple that has like Donnie and Connie, it's hard. I'm sorry, so bear with me. I'm going to butcher. I'm like Ross said, I'm going to butcher this. Connie has taken on Christ in baptism. She's done all the things that are done to become a Christian, and but she has she has been with us. But it's one of those things with placing membership and things like that. So we want to make sure we acknowledge Connie and all her works and all her patience and all the things she does for us, and we love them, and we want to just let you all know. She wanted to let you all know that she would like to be known as a member here at this church. If I were to say some names, I don't know if any of y'all would even recognize these names. In fact, I know many of you would not recognize these names, but these names are very special to me, and some of these names are also very special to my wife. Names like Glenda Smith, Shirley Hedrick, Jan Greenhall, of course Pat Crane. Names like Tony Rosenberry, Kim, or KB now, KB Massengill, Neil, Kelly Neal, thank you, golly, Kelly Neal, Chris Austin, Mike Hall. Many of these people, like I said, you may not know. Some of them you might know. Larry Roberts, Al Jolly. Names of people who have had an influence on my life. Ruth Nightstep. I never knew her first name when I was in kindergarten, but everybody called her Mrs. Broadfoot. So Mrs. Broadfoot and Mrs. Hogan. Coach Brown. Never knew his first name. Everybody called him Coach. I think every coach they just drop their first name and just take that on. So Coach Brown. He only taught football, but taught American history. Coach Brown, Ruth Nightstep, Mr. Barrows, our principal and choir director at my high school, Mrs. Evans, my third grade teacher, all these people have one thing in common. They have been teaching, they have been mentors, they have been people who I have looked up to. Many of these people, the names on our list, the list that I have listed, are people who taught me my ABCs, taught me my 1, 2, 3s, taught me the song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine." They taught me that, about God's Word and how we are to respect it and love it. They taught me songs, ways that I could remember the books of the Bible. The apostles, Jesus called them one by one, Peter, Andrew, James, and John. Next came Philip, Thomas, too, etc., etc., etc. They taught you all the Bible verses, the memory verses. Dr. Kelly Hamby in college was someone who I'm going to mention here in a minute. I want to talk about teachers. And I dropped some names, but I want to give you permission to think about some of your teachers. The ones who taught your schools, in your grade schools. The ones who taught your Bible class. I know for a fact that Jean Wiley, if I'm not mistaken, is probably working on her third generation of kids whose parents and quite possibly grandparents have been through her Bible class. And that's just amazing. There are a group of women who have taught the same Bible class for an incredibly long time. And quite frankly, I don't know what we're going to do if they choose to hang up their Bibles. I'm sure we will find someone to fill in for them, but I don't know if the classes will ever be the same. Can you think of some of your high school, elementary, middle school teachers? Who are your favorites? Who were the tough ones? The ones who gave you all kinds of grief, who always challenged you to do better. Now the big question is, are they the same ones? Are your favorite teachers and the challenge teachers the same ones? How many of you here have worked, are working, or plan to work in the educational system? Please raise your hand. Keep going. I know there's many of them who have worked. All right. Hey, raise them high, Paisley says. How many of you here have taught Bible class? In one way, shape, or form, youth ministry, or whatever. Raise your hands. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for your service. For some of you teachers, you have my sympathy. Because I know that for many of us, there are some who were challenging than others. I thought about once becoming a teacher after I graduated from college. I thought maybe I should go into teaching. But this other job kind of came into place, and so I didn't do that. Teaching is not an easy job. I know that I struggled as a student with learning disabilities and whatnot, and that struggle continued on into college, especially when it came to college algebra. Algebra itself was difficult, and I tried my best to get through it, and as many times as it was when my counselor, my advisor said, "Blaine, if you're going to graduate, you got to take college algebra." And I said, numbers are not my thing. I don't know what, there's some kind of something going on here. I am, and I use the term correctly, I am ignorant when it comes to algebra. And so the counselor said, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and I want you to sign up for Dr. Kelly Hamby's algebra class. Go to him, tell him exactly what you just told me, And I guarantee you, you'll pass the class. So I did. I walked up to him. I introduced myself. I told him who I was. And I said, when it comes to algebra, I am ignorant. And I do not know what the problem is. He said, okay, we'll work on that. But I want you to do this. Do not sign up for another class after mine. I want you to come to my class, and then immediately after class is over, me and you are going to go back to my office. And we're going to work on your homework. Do your work. I said, okay. In fact, he had a little desk set up. I would go, take his class, take all my notes, go get some lunch, come back, and I'd do my math homework in his office while he sat on the outside doing his other things. And I struggled for a while, and I couldn't understand it. And finally, he goes, Blaine, what do you think? Why do you think you're having such a problem in algebra? And I said, I don't know. I just cannot seem to get the answer. And then he goes, Blaine, and I'll never forget it. He goes, Blaine, learning algebra is not about trying to find the answer. Learning algebra is learning the solution to find the answer. And for some reason, that's what got it clicking. I passed that class with a B in college. And that's probably one of my personal greatest achievements. Because he worked with me. He was able to work with me. And there are other teachers, though. There are other teachers that we know of. They may not have the degree. They may not have gone to college to learn to be teachings. But there are other teachers out there. They have different names. But they taught us how to walk. They taught us how to talk. They taught us how to tie our shoes, and they taught us our manners. They taught us not to put our hands on the stove when it's hot or touch the electrical outlet. They taught us how to hold spoons. They taught us how to say please and thank you. I'm referring to moms and dads. Many of them may think, well, they're not maybe the kind of teachers that we normally think about, but in essence they are. So when we think about our favorite teachers, I often wonder, do we think about our parents? Of course not. But from time to time, our parents have done teaching and have displayed moments of teaching. From the time we were born to the day they go, our parents will still be the most influential people in our lives, the most impactful, and the ones who we want to emulate when we become adults. In the text this morning that Parker read, and Parker did a very good job. In fact, I did, for the record, I said, Jeff, make sure you look over this, and if I need to shrink it, I will, but Parker did good. I'm proud of him. Proverbs is a lesson that we read in the book of Proverbs 3. It's a lesson from a father to a son. The king is writing his son, and he is encouraging him to remember the things that he had been taught, to bring honor to his mother and his father. And I think that's, in all honesty, that's really all we ever really want to do. I mean, this may sound really lame, but one of the reasons why I'm doing this is to impress my wife, to impress my mom and my grandmother. I'm sure the reasons why many of us do the things we do, say the things we say, act the way we act, is so that our moms and dads will still be proud of us, even though they may not even be here on this old earth. So what does a teacher do? Well, definition-wise, it's hard to explain, but in a lot of ways, a teacher, in essence, imparts knowledge to those who are open to learn new things. And when we are very young, everything was brand new. Everything was exciting. And we wanted to know how things worked, everything and anything. But our capacity to learn depends on our ability to reason and think logically. And it also depends on how well we comprehend how things work. Let's be really honestly. Reading and writing and mathematics are not natural skills. They must be taught, and therefore they must be learned. And so we need teachers. Whether they are our parents who's gifted with higher learning, or those who are in the academic world or homeschooling, we need teachers Teaching has been going on for the longest time. Teaching evolved from the tales of the old wise people passing stories down to the next generation and having them learn it. And then been going around campfires from the earliest form of man to now we have institutions of higher learning in our colleges and universities today. Today we have libraries that are full of books written by countless people who have lots of knowledge, wisdom that is being passed on from one generation to the next. And now since we have the computer, it is readily available. All you got to do is click a mouse. If the Lord doesn't come within 100 years, imagine what the educational system would be like in the future. No matter what the outcome is in the future, we still need teachers. And I don't think I might, now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I can open up a medical book and read it and then thus think I am knowledgeable enough to perform a surgery or diagnose a medical problem or prescribe some medicine for an ailment. The part of the student is he or she has to study at whatever life skill we want to achieve but it also requires a knowledgeable teacher to be able to impart that knowledge. Teachers are very special people. First, they have to educate themselves by learning from others. And then, they have to learn how to teach others. Teachers are special people, whatever they teach. And so, yes, I am thankful for academic teachers who teach us how to learn, to teach us how to ultimately earn a living and achieve the American dream. And I'm also so thankful for our Sunday school teachers. Of all the teachers I have ever had, many of my Sunday school teachers probably had more impact on my life in such a short time during the week. Yes, they didn't make us take tests, and I'm sure that's very good. That's a positive for the Sunday school teacher. And yes, they didn't make us write book reports. That's another positive for the Sunday school teacher. But they did teach us some very hard lessons that we had to learn at a very early age. How to love and how to respect and how to know the difference between right and wrong. They taught us about Jesus in a way that a little child could understand and made it fun. So when we're going to honor our teachers this week, we're going to work tonight on a project getting school supplies to our teachers and getting them separated individually and individual things so our teachers will have help with the supplies. And then Thursday, we're going to have a luncheon for our teachers here in Franklin who come, and we're going to serve them food and we just basically say, thank you for doing the job that you do. It's a great work and it's a great process. And it's in the bulletin and it was on our PowerPoint how we need Bible class teachers for next quarter. And some of you may not know what that entails. That's fine. Talk to us. Come find Cole or me or Ashley or Jerry and we'll tell you what you need to do. Tell you what you need to know. We have the material. All we need is you. And let me just say this, and I'm not going to get too preachy, but there should never be a time where we have to ask for teachers. All of you have been baptized. All of you have been blessed. All of you have the knowledge. And if you have a Bible, you have what you need to be able to teach a class. All we need from you is a commitment and time. So yes, I have respect for teachers. I have a love for teachers. I have appreciation for those who work in the school system, and I have a very much appreciation for those who've been teaching Bible class from adults to the little kindergarten babies class. Knowledge is being transferred from one generation to the next because of you. Knowledge about Christ and salvation and love and Jesus and how to pray and love your mommies and daddies and everything else that's being taught. We teach love, we teach mercy, we teach grace. If we're not able to reason, if we're not able to reason beyond a certain level, the stories of Jesus still have a significant meaning to us because of what we can relate to in our lives. Children love to hear the stories from the Bible about Goliath and about David and about Samson and Noah's Ark and baby Jesus in the manger. And all of our Sunday school teachers today and Sunday school teachers when they were little. And now the students will become teachers as well. And they'll pass along those same stories from one generation to the next. They're not taught by great scholars. They're not taught by someone who's gone and got their degree. They're taught by people who love God and love their Bible. In Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 9, we find how this all takes place and how it all gets started. Deuteronomy 4:9 says, "Only be careful and watch yourself closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen, nor let them slip from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to their children after them." And so, all of us, as you can see, are teachers. We teach by example, where we set others to, by things we set in front of others for others to see. We teach our children, emulate the way we walk and the way we talk and our attitudes towards other people. Our neighbors see us as good and our neighbors can see us, as good people or not so good people. And all that is being taught to our children. All people see from the outside. But what's coming out in the inside is what's important. What are we being on the inside can be expressed physically. And if Christ dwells within us, what we see on the inside will definitely be what is shown on the outside. If not, what will be seen? What will be seen? Now we can go to Titus chapter 2, verses 1 and 8, where Paul gives instructions on teaching. Paul writes, "You must teach what is in accord with sound doctrine. Teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, and sound in faith, in love, and endurance. Likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live, and not to be slanderous or addicted to much wine, but teach what is good. Then they can train the younger women to love their husbands and children, be self-controlled and pure, be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subject to their husbands, so that no one will malign the word of God. Similarly, encourage the young men to be self-controlled. And in everything, set them an example by doing what is good, and in your teaching show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech that cannot be condemned, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed, because they have nothing bad to say about, not you, us. Us. Finally, this morning, a little bit needs to be said about those who are being taught. See, those who are being taught have the obligation, have the responsibility to learn what is being taught. 2 Timothy 2:15 says, "Be diligent to present yourself approved to God as a workman who does not need to be ashamed, accurately handling the word of truth." And so we say thank you this morning. Thank you to our Bible class teachers. Thank you to the ones who have taught the same grade for so many years. We hope and pray that you will continue to do so. Thank you for those who have taught this quarter. We appreciate all your hard work and all your efforts. Thank you in advance for those who I know will be contacting Cole in the next couple of weeks to sign up to teach a quarter. We appreciate it. Also, we want to say thank you to those who are our teachers. And we're going to honor you next Sunday evening. And those who worship with us, we want to make sure that you know how much we appreciate you and respect you. But this week, as a new school year is about to start, when you say your prayers this week, say a prayer for those who work in our educational system. They need lots of help, lots of prayers. not because the job is hard, not because the students are wild and crazy. It's simply because they have dedicated themselves to a noble craft, to a noble job. And anyone who is able to teach has a great responsibility, and so we want to make sure that they get the honor and the prayers that they need. Becoming a Christian is also something that is taught. It's not something that someone has to deliver the message, deliver the plan of salvation. Someone has to explain what some of these things mean. And so every Sunday morning we offer an invitation, and that invitation is for those who want to become a Christian. We have water, and we'll baptize you in the name of Jesus. And you'll walk out those doors a brand new Christian. But the invitation is not just for that. It's for someone who might need prayers of the church, who might want to visit with our leadership. The invitation is also for those who may have something that has happened in their life this week that is good, and they want to share it with their brothers and sisters. We would love nothing more than to hear how God is working in your life. Whatever your need is today, we want you to make it known. Please come forward as we stand and as we sing.